Hi everyone! Today I want to share a card that we made at my last card buffet. If you're not familiar with a card buffet, I have about 10 or 12 cards to choose from, and you can make as many or as little of each card as you want. Kind of like when you go to a food buffet, you can pick and choose what items you want to eat. Well, you can pick and choose what cards you want to make. And I have cards for so many occasions. Baby, Christmas, birthday. This is kind of a fall card that can be used for many things. I've got a thanks or a birthday on this one. But we made this card and I had a few left over, and so I thought now that I have my blends that I would try it again, only this time using the blends. And I didn't make a video for it last time because I thought it was a little bit of a simple card, and it is. A buffet is nice because the cards are a little more simple to make but still beautiful. So these were the options that we had. And the base of the card is the same, but you could choose whatever image from the stamp set you wanted to use. The stamp set is called Basket of Wishes, and you've got a couple different types of baskets, and you've got some things to put in the baskets as well as a variety of sayings. So it's a really wonderful stamp set, and it's really great for this time of year, especially with these pumpkins. But there's some strawberries for spring too, some succulents, and some sunflowers. So you can really do a lot with this stamp set. Very pretty. So for my buffet, I had my watercolor pencils available for people to use, and those are a nice coloring medium. They're from Stampin Up, of course, and I really like them. They give a nice variety of color, and they're really pretty. But now that I have some blends, I wanted to do the same card, but this time with the new blends markers, and I thought I would film it while I did it. Why not? So you can see right away the blends don't have a chocolate chip, they have a crumb cake, so I had to switch up my browns, but the rest of the colors are the same. I've got Old Olive in the pencils, as well as Pumpkin Pie and the Yellow Daffodil Delight. So let's go ahead and make the card again. This is the pumpkin basket, so I thought maybe I would do the sunflower basket on the film today. Okay, so at the buffet, everybody gets an envelope with all their parts. I'm just going to get that out. Oh, and I want to show you how to make this. It's a really fun punch, and I thought it deserved some attention. The punch looks like this, and it's called the Decorative Ribbon Builder. It is a really fun little detailed punch. You can see that you've got this lacy scallop edge, and also this tiny little scallop edge, and you can kind of decide what you want showing. Like on this card, I just went with the tiny little scallops, which kind of match the circle. But on this one, I went with the fun little lacy side, and you can do that, you know, pick and choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's also nice because it uses up these little strips. I always have these little strips of paper left over from when I cut, you know, a mat size. And it's really great because it used this up. In fact, from my card buffet, I was able to cut out everybody's little strips out of just scraps. So it really is a nice little addition to your punch family. And it works by, I'm just going to show you. So you put it in and punch. And so your first punch is pretty straightforward. After that, however, you need to either do one of two things. Some people like to look at the image at the front. And what you would do is move that piece of cardstock over until the image on the base here of the punch lines up with the cutout piece like this. And then once you've got that lined up nicely, you would punch again. Or some people like to do it backwards. I kind of like to do it backwards. So you would put this in, and I line it up looking at the underside. So it's a little bit odd, but you have to see what works best for you. For some reason, I like this way. And that's how I line it up. And then you just continue on until you got the full length of the little piece of cardstock that you need. Okay, so at the buffet, people are given these pieces of paper here, these cardstock, and I'm going to start with the main image. So like I said, these are photopolymer, which makes them really easy to line up. Okay, and when you're using your blends, you need to stamp with Memento ink. This is because it's a non-alcohol ink and you don't want the alcohol from the blends to start to bleed into that. They kind of go together. So by having the opposite in your main image, you won't get that bleed. Now they recommend that you let this sit for just a minute to dry. You can also grab your heat tool if it's handy and heat set it. I'm just going to let it sit a minute. It really does not take long. In fact, while it's drying, I'm going to assemble the front of my card. I'm going to start with the basket. I'm using the Crumb Cake Blends. I like to start with the light, and I'm going to do the whole handle in light. It's nice to work in little sections because it does dry pretty quickly. I'm stamping on vanilla, very vanilla cardstock. It's an ultra smooth and it's really nice quality, so you'll get a good crisp image and you'll be able to blend nicely. So I'm kind of highlighting areas that I want to be darker, specifically the little ridge here. I'm using the brush tip so I can get into the little areas, but I also kind of want to go on some of the handle that's not the little bumpy part. And I added my highlights with the dark, and then I'm going to go back with this nib tip and I'm going to blend the two together. Kind of just gets rid of that harsh line. And now I'm going to work on the basket bottom. I'm going to do the brush tip. So I went over the whole area with the light and give it a shadow. Now I'm going to add some highlights with the dark. The stamp kind of helps you with this. It's got these little shaded areas so you kind of know where you want those. I'm kind of following those a little bit. I'm just going to work in a small section while I blend these together. Okay, I'm going to leave that for a little bit and work on the leaves with the Old Olive. Now I use Daffodil Delight, but I'm also going to come in and just use just a tiny bit of pumpkin pie. Okay, I'm going to call that done. I punch it out with a 2.5 inch circle. Just for a little bit of added something, I have these enamel shapes, and I thought we could just add a little one to the bottom just for some color down here. It's a little shine too. And then on the inside, because the card is early espresso and very dark, I used a panel of very vanilla, and I like to give it just a little bit of an accent. So I looked through my washi tape and I found a washi tape that is Cajun Craze, and so I went ahead and used that at the bottom. And you can see it's always nice to just have a lot of the washi tapes on hand, especially if you can get all the different washi tapes that Stampin' Up! Has available. They're just a nice little accent, and I just love to add them to the inside of the card. It's just a cute little something, so it's not so plain. Here are the blends version. The basket is so pretty, and I think it just adds a little more life. So these were a card buffet offering. I'm just kind of showing them to you, and I hope that if you're in my area, you'll attend one of my card buffets. They're a lot of fun. You can contact me through my blog, bethspapercuts.com, or Facebook, same name, and ask about my next card buffet. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like the blends. We have found out that they are going to be available to customers November 1st. Can't wait. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.